This is the history and the very sad ending of the SS America. The America was an ocean liner and a cruise ship built in the United States in 1940 for the United States Lines and designed by the noted American naval architect William Francis Gibbs. She carried at least 9 different names in the 54 years between her construction and her wreck in 1994, and she was named America 3 different times during her career. She was wrecked as the American Star in the Canary Islands on the 18th of January 1994. The wreck deteriorated and completely collapsed into the sea, and as of 2022, she is no longer visible on the ocean surface and has become an artificial reef. She was launched on the 31st of August 1939 and was sponsored by Eleanor Roosevelt. She entered service on the 10th of August 1940, taking her maiden voyage as the flagship of the United States Lines. As she was originally designed, America could carry 543 in her cabin class, 418 in tourist class, and 241 in third class, and she had a crew of 643. America was originally constructed with low funnels in order to give the ship a modern, streamlined appearance. Very early in her career, however, the height of the funnels was increased by 16 feet due to heavy soot deposits on the deck. The forward funnel was actually just a dummy, housing the oar and some ventilation uptakes. Due to the conflict having begun in Europe in World War II, in which the United States was still neutral, the ship's name, along with the United States Lines and 2 American flags, were painted in a large size to be clearly visible on both sides of her hull. At night, she sailed fully illuminated. On the 28th of May 1941, America was called into service by the United States Navy while the ship was in St. Thomas in the United States Virgin Islands. When the war was finally over, she was able to sail the New York to France route that had been delayed by World War II. To many ship lovers, she was the most beautifully decorated liner to fly the American flag. Smaller and more graceful than her much faster shipmate, the SS United States. Jumping ahead nearly 40 years to the end of her very interesting life that came with many owners, many different jobs, it was finally time for her retirement. In the late 80s, she was sold for $2 million for scrap. The scrap merchant made an initial deposit of $1 million and began work. Following the demolition of the lifeboats and the lifeboat davits, the scrapper defaulted on payments and pulled out. In October of 1992, she was sold yet again, with the intention of being refitted to become a 5-star hotel ship off Phuket in southern Thailand. Dry docking at the time revealed that despite the many years of neglect, the hull was still remarkably in good condition. In August of 1993, she was renamed American Star. Her propellers were removed and placed on the deck at the bow. The funnel was painted red. The bridge was painted signal orange just for the tow, and ladders were welded to her starboard side. Since the vessel was not allowed to pass through the Suez Canal due to her age, the vessel had to go around the Cape of Good Hope in order to get to Thailand. She left Greece under tow on the 22nd of December 1993, but the tow proved impossible due to inclement weather. She returned to Greece for a few days until the weather calmed down. On the 31st of December, the American Star left Greece for the last time. The 100-day tow began. Shortly afterwards, American Star and the tug sailed into a thunderstorm in the Atlantic. The tow line broke and 6 or more crew members were sent aboard the American Star to reattach the emergency tow line, which proved unsuccessful. 2 other towboats were called in to assist. On the 17th of January 1994, the crew aboard the American Star were rescued by helicopter. The ship was left adrift, and at 6:15 a.m. on the 18th of January, she went aground in the Canary Islands. While discussions among the ship's owner, the towing company, and the company insuring the ship were ongoing, the ship was left to nature. With the forward part going aground on a sandbar, within the first 48 hours of grounding, the pounding surf of the Atlantic broke the ship into 2 pieces just past the second funnel. The ship was declared a total loss on the 6th of July, 1994. The 344-foot stern section collapsed completely to the port and sank in 1996, while the 379-foot bow section remained intact. As the months passed after running ashore, the wreck attracted many onlookers and even looters. Locals even created a zip line to the wreck to carry anything off of value. Due to the rough waves and strong current, trying to reach the wreck was very unsafe. Over the years, several people trying to swim out to the wreck had died, while others had to be airlifted off once they got on board. Those that had gotten on board showed views of the interior and exteriors of the wreck, such as the sparse cabins, the water crashing through blown-out portholes. The only other documentation came from a German documentary in 1999 that showed the interior and exterior of the wreck, including rare views filmed just after the stern section had split apart. As part of the art project, the film crew brought generators and floodlights aboard to illuminate the bow section. By 2004, the bow section continued to remain upright, with the water eroding away cargo hold number 1, making the bow section extremely top-heavy. In November of 2005, the port side of the bow section collapsed, which caused the liner's remains to assume a much sharper list, and the remaining funnel detached and fell into the ocean somewhere between November the 13th and 15th. The collapse of the port side also caused the hull to begin to break up, and by October of 2006, the wreck had completely collapsed onto its port side. On approximately the 20th of March 2007, the starboard side finally collapsed, causing the wreck to break in half and fall into the sea. By 2018, only the bow was left visible, and only during low tide. In 2019, extensive underwater footage was taken of the American Star's debris field by scuba divers during a period of calm seas. While the line's hull and superstructure are now fully disintegrated, there remains recognizable chunks of the vessel aft buried in the sand. Anchor chains on the forecastle and a boiler are particularly intact. The detached funnel is also intact. The wreck site is teeming with marine life. This all came from Wikipedia. There is a lot more there if you want to go check it out. Link is in the video description. There's a lot of information on her sailing life, especially from when the war ended until she sank and was refloated and eventually sold for scrap. She had a very, very interesting life, many owners, many different names, and she worked all over the world.